some coaches going, well, why are we going over? Not ours, but I'm saying, why are we going over? Well, hell, we're going over there because people in Little Rock want us to come over there, and we're going to come over there and we're going to have a good time, and we need to go over there and win. I was here before. I think we lost 2 out of 3 maybe over there or something, but we need to go over there and put on a show for the fine folks in Central Arkansas.
Sam, I feel like we don't really hardly talk about him very much because we've come to expect him to put up the crazy numbers he has. But what do you think of the season Traylon Burks has had for y'all?
Isn't it amazing? Because, in his standards, probably started off slow, against Rice, wasn't able to practice and proved a pretty good point. For me, it helped the team actually that, if you're not able to practice, you're probably not going to play very well. And that's what happened. But he's a competitor and he can catch anything close to him and great at a one-on-one ball. His running running after catch is improved. We just threw one out to him the other day and just said, okay, it's one-on-one. We didn't have a block or anything. Just he made the guy miss and got a good, I think it was about a 12-yard gain. So he's a better player. He gets better every year. Last year he's a good player. This year he's a better player, depending on what he decides to do about next year. But he'll be a better player, whether it's for us or somebody else.
And I'm curious, whenever whether it be whenever you were watching film, when you first got the job or watching him in practice for the first time, was there ever a moment where you knew that he was going to be a special player for y'all?
Yeah, I think, obviously we didn't have, that first spring, but knowing how he moved around, we had some off season, early workouts and seeing him move around and do some things there, and a huge guy for a wide receiver. And I didn't know how skillful he really was. So, we got to throwing the ball to him a little bit, when camp started a couple. Great kid is what he is. He's just a wonderful kid, wonderful person, very down to earth guy. It makes him, to me, that makes him who he is.
Hey, Sam, a couple days of practice this week. We've seen some younger guys at safety and nickel. How are they looking? And is that be indicative of what we see on Saturday?
Sure. Absolutely. You guys are at practice and we're not, whether you believe it or not, anything from you, we just put our guys out there and yes, I think, and to me, they're ready to play and better time than, do it now. And then they'll have a bye week to learn a little bit more. So, yeah, I think so. You're talking about JJ and Flush and I don't know who else you'd be talking about. Malik, so they're all really big guys, and they look like SEC defensive backs. So we just got to get them where they're confident and do this week.
And what does that mean for a Greg Brooks, a Simeon Blair? I mean, they still get playing?
Nothing at all. I mean, they certainly have been in the rotation as well this week. It just means that, once a guy starts catching up to an older guy, then you got to put him in there and see if he can pass him or see if he can't. And we're going to play a bunch of anyway. So it really doesn't mean anything to Greg or Simeon. It just means we feel like these guys are getting closer and closer to them, and we'd like to see them play in the game.
Okay. On Monday, you said you praised Doc Gamble's program. I wondered, what is it you like about him? Have you crossed paths with Doc very much? You get that opportunity?
I haven't. I tried to research on him, Tom, just, to kind of, I always try to find out about the head coach and where is he from and things of that nature. And he's had a journey, like I have. Not as many, but he's had a journey, and I respect that. He's worked his way up through the coaching ranks and got him a head coaching job. And I just like the way they play. That I mean, they're a very physical team and they play extremely hard, and they're not afraid. I guess would be the biggest thing. They're not afraid. They're not afraid to, throw the ball 3 times deep in a row. They're not afraid to go after a punt. They do it 75% of the time. They're a very aggressive, well-coached football team.
Hey,
Yeah, Sam, as far as the secondary, the way Catalan kind of would get people lined up, is anybody taking his place and kind of taking charge on back there and getting people
Well,
lined up?
we're hoping Slusher does that. We're hoping he's one of those. Obviously, Simeon Blair, when he's in there, he's able to do that. But we're hoping Slush kind of takes over that spot of doing that, because JJ's young, and if Slush isn't in there, it'd probably be Malik, and we're feeling like those guys can do that as well. So that's what we're hoping. If you remember last year against LSU when Jalen went out, we at times looked a little bit confused back there. I don't think that'll be the case now. We've got guys older, have at least a year older than what they were last year. And of course, Slush played a lot of ball last week too.
I guess also after playing some 4-man front last week, you're pretty able to switch back and forth between 3 and 4 men.
Yeah, we're just trying to, what Barry does. He tries to figure out, yes, to answer your question, he just tries to figure out what we think we can do to stop them, per that week. And yeah, I think so. With Utsey being out, puts us one less D lineman, but we have the same amount of rotation guys that we had last week. So I think we'll just be multiple. I think you'll see a bunch of different fronts this weekend.
Thank you.
Greg.
Hey, Coach. I was curious how the evaluation period has gone to this point. Has the 11 a.m. kickoffs impacted that at all, with having to kind of cram more stuff together in a short amount of time the night before? And what's the plan for this weekend?
Yeah, Trey. I don't get to see I see them on the sidelines, but I don't get to see all the kids that I'd like to see, because you never have any pregame type situation where you have all day where you could, I could come back to campus and see some kids and things of that nature. The 11 a.m.s are hard on that. And then the kids want to get back home after the game, So, yeah, it's made it a little bit more difficult, especially with, 4 in a row, and we already alluded to 2 of those are home games, and they're not very beneficial for recruiting. I forget you said something about this week.
Yeah, are the coaches getting out?
Yeah, we're getting out. Not everybody. I think we'll probably have about 4 on the road. I won't be one of them this weekend. Next weekend, next Friday I will be, but I spent a day. I can't remember what, I believe last Friday morning I was able to stay in locally, and I'll be able to get out next Friday. But we've been sending out some in areas on Fridays for probably the last 4 or 5 weeks, probably early, just to make sure the team was ready to roll. But I think we're pretty used to it right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Obviously, you've had some success recruiting in the state of Arkansas. Central Arkansas and its resurgence with the coaches, the player night to a program, to have that area state to producing football players.
Well, I heard most of that. I think how important it is for the central part of the state to have players vary. The more, the better. To be honest with you, if we're going to over recruit, it would be our state. You know, I mean, if you're going to sit there and you go, well, maybe, I think so, but we know more about him, you know, his heart, this, that, and the other, we're going to offer the guy in the state of Arkansas. Sometimes you offer a kid and they go, and y'all go, or whoever goes, wow, how, you know, I didn't see that. It's just, if we're going to take a chance, the ones that we get out of state, we want to go, yeah, we're right. The ones in state, we want to be right on those as well, but we'll also take a few more chances there, including the walk-on program. But I think anytime you have, you know, 8 to 10 guys in your state that you want on a football team, I think that sure, it just helps you tremendously with the recruiting process.
Thanks.
Sam, who's grading out well on the front for you the last couple weeks? Is Trey Williams feeling better?
Yeah, Trey's healthy. I mean, he'll be fine. D-line wise, it just depends on what game you're talking about. You know, Ridge played a little bit better last week than he did against Ole Miss. I don't know that we felt like we really played well at all. You know, there we didn't get much pressure, things of that nature. As a unit, we have to play better than what we have. I think we have played better. You know, going back to Texas A&M and Texas and Georgia Southern and Rice, I think the D-line has played better. But I think we'll get back again, you know, with Ridge and Utsey and those guys. They've been beat up. So I think once we get those guys back healthy, I think Ridge will be healthy this weekend. It's probably another week out before he does, but we hadn't played as well there, you know, over as we did earlier in the year. And we're back to that.
Bob?
Hey, Sam, Hayden and Hudson, obviously brothers, played here 3 years after being high school teammates. Their contributions for the program, and how cool it is that, you know, brothers have been able to be, you know, teammates here for so long.
I think it's really cool for them. You know, of course, you know, you had another one in here too that was pretty good, you know, when I was here as well. But I think with those guys going to the same school at the same time, I think it means a lot to them. They're very close. What a wonderful family. But, you know, could you imagine playing college ball with your brother? You know, I think that'd be a pretty cool situation. And they've got that opportunity. And both of them are playing extremely well now. And I look for Hudson to continue to improve, you know, as he's healthy now, ready.
And then, yeah, you mentioned, well, you didn't mention Hunter, but we all know that's who you were talking about. Of course, Mark, I don't know how well you've got to know their dad, but
Yeah.
yeah, pretty good. And I guess their grandmother was here too. Pretty good family legacy. Just what do you think about, I guess, the contributions that whole family's made to Arkansas?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, only thing is, we'd wish they'd had some more kids, you know. If they'd have just kept piling them kids out, we might be winning a national championship by now. But 3 of them's plenty, you know, and I know they have a daughter too. I don't know exactly what grade she's in. I think at least one daughter. Anyway, yeah, I'd had the opportunity to know Mark for a long time, and they're very loyal to the University of Arkansas, and we're very thankful of that.
Thanks, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Wrap us up, Hutch.
Yeah, just real quick, Coach. We've seen Bishop back out at practice this week. Is he good to go this week?
Yeah, he's fine. He seemed to be healthy, ready to go. I mean, he seems to be nothing wrong with him at all. So, yeah, we expect him to be available and play.
All right, thanks, Coach.
What did Dudley? He was a Celtics, and then what happened?
Cowboys.
How do you do that?
I switched back to the
Like you
Cowboys.
could change this one right here?
We could, but that's a digital background.
Oh,
I could get fun.
Saturday.
see y'all.